Today we are looking at the protocol. The first day we look at preamble. Then secondly, we looked at the principles. Today we are looking at the protocols. Today we are looking at the protocol. And we'll spend some time on the protocol and discussing different issues that need to be considered before you go into relationship and marriage. Like I often start every week, I start by saying that the young people of this generation are faced with a great challenge of choosing a life partner. Many are follow practices and not principle. And these are led to situations where you have a high rate of divorce, and even in some cases, paternity fraud, because people actually marry someone they don't love or someone they are not attracted to. You know, I saw a story recently. Sometimes when you hear some things, you'll be wondering, how on earth do we even get here? Look at this story. A lady had a boyfriend that he likes, but the guy does not have money. But the guy is, all these physical features, six-pack, broad-chested, tall, dark. So the lady liked the physique of that guy, but the other guy she eventually married to is someone that is richer. So she went to marry the person that is richer. But the person that is richer does not have a physical physique, as in physical features. He doesn't look, those physical features that some ladies like. He doesn't have it. So this lady said he doesn't want to give back to a child that is ugly. So he married the guy, but she will be using pills. Anytime they meet together, she will be using pills to ensure she doesn't get pregnant. So, and she and the husband were going to the hospital up and down. What are they going to do? To see, what's the problem? Doctor is checking, everything is fine. You guys are okay. Just keep trying. It will happen. But this lady is using pills to prevent pregnancy. After a while, the lady now decided to arrange a meeting with her ex and sleep with her ex, first time, second time. So now brought home a child from her ex into her husband's home. What led this story out? Something now happened. The husband wants to relocate to Canada. This happened in Ghana. The husband wants to relocate to Canada. I know for this relocation thing, they have to do, if you say you are married, you have kids, they have to do DNA test to be sure they are your children. So immediately they said they are doing DNA test, this lady became very afraid. She now wrote a particular radio program that I heard about this story. What should she do? Now, imagine that. So why on earth will you go and marry a man you don't like? Why on earth should you marry? And the reason is because people marry for the wrong reasons. She did not marry that guy because she loved that guy. She married the guy because of his money. But she likes someone else. She's attracted to someone else. She doesn't want her husband to be the father of her child because he doesn't want the children to be ugly. Oh my God. People marry for different reasons. So the goal of this program, therefore, is to help everyone that will be part of this or listen to this in future to get it right in this critical area of their life called marriage. And I'm happy that a number of us are here. I mean, the response has been encouraging. A lot of people have been joining. And my conclusion based on people joining is basically because we see this as an important area of our life, because if you get it wrong in this area, it might become very difficult for you to have peace for the rest of your life. You will hear some uncommon ideas about marriage in this series, but please note that these are based on research, and it will help you align with the current reality of our times. Listen with open mind, and also go back to check some of the thoughts I shared to be sure they are correct. Do your research yourself. I will start today with what Thomas Merton said. He said, if we seek paradise outside of ourselves, we cannot have paradise in our heart. We cannot have paradise in our heart. Don't marry because you are looking for someone to satisfy your need. For example, you want to be happy, and you think by marrying you will be happy. You want to be satisfied. You think by happy you will be fulfilled or satisfied. Therefore, it is important to state that one of the most important truths that make many marriages to crash is because the individuals involved in that marriage have really not discovered themselves and what their life is all about. They forgot that they are an individual. You are an individual. You are an individual. You are an individual. Don't look for the paradise on the outside from your partner. The paradise lies within. Therefore, seeking for satisfaction in your partner is not the right thing to do. Because when you try to seek for satisfaction in your partner and you're unable to get it, the next thing is to break up, separate, divorce. Now, when divorce happens in a marriage, unfortunately, the man and the woman have satisfied themselves to have their own peace, but their selfishness is going to affect the children they brought into this world. So the child suffers. A child is better raised up within the confine of a home, of a family, than in motherless babies' home or in orphanages. So couples, or rather singles, need to first maximize their singleness and enjoy it in such a manner that they will be coming into that relationship, listen to this, with joy, with happiness, with satisfaction to share. So that means I should maximize my singleness and be full of joy, full of happiness, full of satisfaction in life. So when I'm going into relationship, I'm going there to share joy, peace, satisfaction. That is what I'm going to share. I'm not going there to expect someone else to give me that satisfaction, to give me that joy or peace. I am going to share what I have. This is so important, ladies and gentlemen. This is extremely important. I am going in there to share, meaning I must have to be able to share. Meaning I must have to be able to share. So that means if I do not have the satisfaction, the joy, the peace within, please don't get married yet. Don't get married yet. Do not get married yet. Why? Why? If you do, you're going to create a lot of problem for the lady you're getting married to, for the guy you're getting married to. Rather than bringing something to the table to share, you are expecting that she or he will be the one to give you what you want. How about the person also getting what she wants? How about that? How about that? Why is this so important? This is very important because if you do not have peace, you cannot bring peace into the relationship. You know, all of us, we can only give what we have. We can only give what we have. All of us. We cannot give what we don't have. Someone said, it's only he that is well that can donate blood. We cannot give what we don't have. So going into a relationship and expecting that you are going to find joy and happiness in your partner, it might lead to disaster. Because if you are not able to get it, you exert pressure on him or her to the detriment of the marriage, because you are looking for satisfaction on the outside rather than looking for it on the inside. That's why I made that quote at the beginning. If we seek for paradise outside of ourselves, we cannot have paradise in our heart. You want peace and joy in your heart? It is right within. It is right within. So when you see a marriage that breaks up, the fault is not the other party. No, it is your own fault, either as the man or the woman, because you are looking for satisfaction on the outside. Look at this. You know, sometimes when you have stress in your life, when you are stressed, look at what happens when you are stressed. Look at what happens when you are stressed. When your reality, when the gap between your life expectation and your current reality is wide, you become stressed. The level of the stress in your life is directly proportional to the gap between your set expectation, and most of the expectations are set based on your environment, based on the set expectation and your reality. For example, you're already dreaming of the child you want to have, your children. So you are marrying. One of the major reasons you are married is because you want to have kids. So you have an expectation within 9 months, I will have kids. So if it doesn't happen in 9 months, you know what happened? You are now under enormous pressure because you have set an expectation, but your current reality defies that expectation. When the gap between your current reality and your expectation is wide, you become stressed. In fact, the wider the gap, the more stressed your life becomes. The wider the gap, the more stressed your life becomes. The wider the gap, the more stressed your life becomes. So that means I should be careful of the expectation I set for myself in relationship. We all deserve to marry and have kids, no doubt. But what if the kid does not come on time? Do you have a plan to manage that? Don't say it's not my portion. These are reality of life. These are reality of life. I have a colleague that recently got married and she was pregnant and lost the baby. She didn't plan for that, but that's life. That's life. We face challenges in life. We face challenges. And you can't say your own marriage will be devoid of that. That is why you must already have peace within, joy within, and don't marry for the right reason. Don't marry because of something you can achieve within 1 year or 2 years. Because immediately you achieve that objective, the marriage becomes useless because your goal has been achieved anyway. So why are you still there? Why are you still there? Why are you still there? So if you are not able to achieve that joy and happiness, you exert pressure on your partner at the detriment of the marriage because you are looking for satisfaction on the outside rather than on the inside. So when you see a marriage that breaks up, the fault, like I said, is because of the gap between your expectation and your reality. Every time you misbehave in your relationship, it is either you have not discovered yourself or you have forgotten what you are supposed to be. If you have not discovered yourself, who are you? What's your life really about? Because those are the things that give you satisfaction. You will not be looking for satisfaction on the outside because the way you are personally, you are fine, you are happy, you are fulfilled. You just want to share this excitement with someone else in a relationship, but not going into the relationship because you are damaged and devoid of any form of peace or joy within. So as a single person, you need to first become independent before you enjoy interdependence. If you are going to enjoy interdependence in the relationship, you need to first become independent. Because if you are not independent, you can't have interdependence, because interdependence means you are contributing something in the home. You can only enjoy interdependence in that marriage if you first become independent. That means without the other party, you are just fine. You are fine without the other party. This means that both of you should have discovered yourself. You know exactly what you want to do with your life. And then both of you coming together can find how you complement each other, how your own life goal can complement or support the spouse. Because if you don't have something you're doing with your life, what happens is this: you will put the relationship under enormous stress. When you are idle, there's nothing you are doing. Because life is meaningless when there is no goal you are trying to achieve or direction you are going. When one person is totally dependent on the other person because he or she does not have idea of the direction of his or her life or the direction of where he wants to go, it is a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for disaster. I'm hearing some background noise. I'm trying to know where it's coming from. Can we mute ourselves, please? It's a recipe for disaster. Why? When one person is totally dependent on the other, let me give you an example. If as a lady, you depend entirely on your guy for all your needs, what if he's unable to meet it? What if he's unable to meet it? What if something happened and he could not meet it again? Maybe he was meeting it before. It's a recipe for disaster. Independence is necessary before you go into relationship. If you are not independent, you are going to create problem for your partner. Being independent means you must have a life. What do you want to do with your life? You should have a job. You should earn a living or a business. You must be able to take care of yourself and your need. You must be happy just by yourself alone. 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 You will not find happiness in that relationship if you are not coming with happiness. So if you have issues in your life, sort it out first. Don't take it in that relationship and put the guy or the lady under stress because of your personal issues of life. You must be happy by yourself alone. You must be happy by yourself alone. And I'm taking time to emphasize this because, because a lot of relationships today are so stressed because the lady is not doing anything. There's no direction. Everything depends on the husband. In fact, do you know why? Have you ever wondered why some ladies, they are being beaten and battered and they stay in the relationship? Have you ever wondered why? Why sometimes they find it difficult to live? They can't take care of themselves. They are not independent. They are not independent. They are totally dependent on the guy. They are totally dependent on the guy. Like I said, it is a recipe for disaster. A recipe for disaster. Like I said, being independent means you should have a life. You should have a job. You should be able to take care of your basic need. And if it's a guy, you must be able to take care of yourself and someone in addition, or at least two in addition. When you do not have all this, you are going to be negotiating. Listen to this, ladies. You are going to be negotiating from a position of weakness in that relationship. You are going to be negotiating from a position of weakness in that relationship. You won't have a say because you are really not a stakeholder. You are not putting anything on the table. You know, let me debunk one of the very wrong interpretation for those of us that are Christian that said the Bible says that he that cannot provide for his household is works as an infidel. That's not true. The Bible did not say that. The Bible did not say that. The Bible did not say he. The Bible did not say he. The Bible says if any. If any. And before then, he was talking about the need to support widows. He said, if any does not provide for his own, especially of those of his own house, he has denied the faith and was an infidel. If any, not the man, meaning the woman should contribute. No doubt, the man is the head, no doubt. He should contribute more, no doubt. But in some cases, he is unable to contribute as much. He might be able to do it before, but he might lose his job. What if he lost his job? What if he has issue with his job and was sacked or retrenched? What if that happened? The lady should contribute. Be a stakeholder. When you don't have this, when you are not contributing, when you don't have what they contribute as a lady, you are not looking for a marriage or a husband. No. If as an husband or wife, you are not able to contribute financially to support the home as a stakeholder, just the way the husband is not helping the wife by doing house chores. He's not helping the wife because they are stakeholder. He's not helping the wife by doing house chores. The wife is not helping the husband by contributing. You are both stakeholder in this project. So you are helping yourself. Now, if as a man or a woman, you are not contributing financially, you rather depend on your partner. You don't need a husband or wife, or you need a sponsor. You're looking for sponsor, not husband or wife. You're looking for sponsor. And that will stress that marriage. Let's go back to singleness. Someone defines singleness as the state of discovering the very essence of your life or your calling. And this means accepting yourself without apologies, accepting yourself without apologies, accepting yourself without apologies, accepting yourself without apology, including your shame, and keeping focus on it till a state of wholeness is achieved in you and in your service to God and humanity. Discovering the essence of your life, your calling, accepting yourself without apology. Please note that what may make you happy may be too hard for those you love to understand. And hence, you may reject what makes you happy and live by their own rule, and this will make you trade your happiness for conformity. You know, there's a lady I know, she likes wearing hats. And she will wear it anywhere, including going to church. And some people will come to her to let her know the reason why she should not be wearing hats. Can you imagine? And they'll be quoting the Bible. And she loves it. She loves her looks when she wears hats, a particular type of hat, actually. It's not offending anybody by doing what she's doing, but someone does not like it. And you know, some people, they trade their happiness for conformity. Not because what you are doing is wrong, but someone don't like it. And it's trying to prove to you why you should not do it. Because he does not like it. Because you don't like it does not mean I should not do what I want to do. If it makes me happy. And it's not offending anybody. Because you can't say anything that you say make you happy should not be offending someone. Because some people will dress very horribly and say it make them happy. But you are causing nuisance in the society. You are causing nuisance in the society. Distracting everybody on the street just because you want to dress. That's why I talk about principles. Because when you dress, let's go to dress for you. When you dress, what principle guide you? There must be, look, when you learn to live by principle as human, you can't make mistake. You can't miss it. Because at every junction, you know, okay, what's the principle guiding this? For example, for it to be a clothing, it should be covering. It should be covering. It should be covering. If it's not covering, then he has defined the purpose. He has defined the purpose. So don't trade your happiness just because you want to please someone. But that thing that makes you happy should not be offending others also. I'm basically saying that as a single person, you should be happy with yourself. You know, look, you should be happy, excited with yourself. excited with yourself, happy with yourself. Why? If you are not happy, you will not bring happiness to that relationship. You will depend on the other person to make you happy. Too many people have been messed up by wrong belief that they pick up in their environment, and these have made them to either be unable to get their desired spouse or even divorce after a few months. Let's talk a little bit about compatibility. It is important to note that even though opposite things attract, but for human beings, opposite human beings do not attract. Only people of the same kind attract. Please note this. There's a common thing around, opposite attract. So if you are talkative, marry someone that is not as talkative, you will create big problem in that home. Big problem. Big problem. Because when the other person is talking, you think it's disturbing you by what he's saying. Why? Because you feel, you don't like the gist. So it's like he's disturbing you when he's trying to get you to talk. It's like he's disturbing you. It's like he's disturbing you. So that makes you not to be involved in that conversation. It's kind that attract, kind, similar people. You are supposed to marry your kind. People of your kind. People of your kindness. People of your kindred. People of your type. That is someone that have similar characteristics and lifestyle as you. So sorry. I'm having issue with my network here. I've been having issues since afternoon when I was having some other classes. Okay, kindly confirm if you can hear me now. Just indicate by raising up your hand if you can hear me, please. Can you hear me, please? Kindly, okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I was saying that you are supposed to marry your kind. That is, people of your kind, kindness, kindred, someone that have similar characteristics and lifestyle like you. You are the type you love Owambe. Please, marry an Owambe lady, I beg you. Marry an Owambe person. Marry an Owambe person. Marry an Owambe. Marry someone that is of your kind. If you marry someone that is not of your kind, you are not going to attract them. You're going to stress each other. While someone else feels the other person is boring, this other one feels your own is too much. A talkative should not marry a quiet person, but rather he should marry his kind, which is another talkative, but at least someone that likes to talk, even if it's not up to your level, but not someone that likes to be reserved and be on his or her own. You know, imagine a disorganized man marrying an organized woman. Now just think of that. The woman will feel as a slave in the house. The man comes, his shoes is in the sitting room, his socks is in the kitchen, his trouser is in the bedroom. He's so scattered. He now marries someone who is an organizer. No, now. It will be challenging for that person because the person will not find it funny. He will be complaining every time. But if you marry someone that is like you, both of you already are disorganized. So there's nothing to complain. Over time, you guys will realize your error and mistake and probably correct it yourself. But nobody will be a burden on the other. You know, sometimes people say they have irreconcilable differences. Irreconcilable differences. Have you heard that before? Irreconcilable differences. Irreconcilable differences. Because they think opposite attract. They think opposite attract. So A number of relationships that divorce, they always use that word, irreconcilable differences. Irreconcilable differences. People hide under personality type weakness in order to remain responsible in developing themselves and improving this area of their lives. Don't hide under personality type and say that's who you are. That's not true. You've not found a situation that will make you to change it. That's why you think that's who you are. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. That's who you have chosen to be. That is who you have chosen to be. Given the right circumstances and situation, you will. Given the right circumstances and situation, you will definitely change. It's because you have not found situation to change. You know, sometimes when people don't change, it's because they have not faced circumstances that force them to change. Because you will face some circumstances in life, you will realize your foolishness. Nobody will tell you to change because you now realize your foolishness. So saying that this is who I am, that's not who you are. This is who you have become by virtue of your environment, by virtue of your experience, by virtue of the value system you have embraced. This is who you have become. If you grew up in another environment, most likely you will not be the way you are. So this is not who you are. This is who you have become. It is also important to note that the current pattern you see in life of your intending spouse is a prophetic picture and a good predictor of the future you will likely experience in that relationship. What is the pattern you notice right now? Who is he? Who is she? Who is he? Who is she? Whatever you're noticing right now is a prophetic picture of the future of that relationship. Very important. Very, very important. This is why background check of the person you want to marry is very key. It helps you to validate what the person has said about himself and also prevent the danger of the person, the danger that the person represents, if any, from happening to you. Whatever the person says he is, investigate it. Be sure what the person claims to be is who he is or who she is. You know, in those days, in the Southwest, for example, before someone go to marry in another family, they hire someone that do investigation and give a feedback of that family and that person. Do you know why they do that? They want to be sure their child is going to a family where we have peace. We can't get it in that. It's more important in today's world because today there are a lot of pretenders. Oh my God. You know, I heard a very sad story. This guy wanted to get a particular lady. He wanted to get a particular lady. He wanted to get a particular lady. But he knows this lady will not agree if the lady knows that he's a Muslim. So this guy joined the church that this lady belonged to. He's a Muslim. He joined the church. True life story. He joined the church that this lady belongs to. Joined the workforce in the same unit where this lady is. Joined in doing all the activity in the church. Claimed to be born again. After a few years, he proposed to this lady. And lady agreed. The lady agreed. And they got married. The wedding night, this guy brought out his mat, his, what's the name? His tasbih and his kettle to pray because he's a practicing Muslim. But the lady did not know. Lady was shocked to the marrow. But they've married. They've married. I didn't know how the story ended eventually. But you know what? There are a lot of pretenders out there, both for guys and ladies, particularly in church. Because some people are not there because they really love God. They are there because they are looking for a life partner. And some of them are wove in sheep clothing. This is why you have to do background check, ladies and gentlemen. Do background check. Don't be, if I tell people don't be in a hurry. Look, this, you're going to be in this thing for, if you are already maybe 25, 26, you're going to be in this, if you live till 75, for example, you're going to be in it for maybe 50 years. You can't be in a hurry. Please, you cannot be in a hurry. Do your background check. Be sure that this is a direct decision you want to make. Who is this person? How will you describe him? What kind of person is he? Like I said, any pattern you see now or in his past is a predictor of the future. This is why background check of the person you want to marry is key. It validates what the person has told you about himself and help you avoid a potential danger that he can pose on you. Check the belief and culture compatibility. Check for belief and culture compatibility. Your belief must align. Next week, I'll be talking about unequal yoke. Or is it upper week? I'm talking about unequal yoke. Unequal yoke. If you believe that a man is superior to a woman as a man, and the woman believes man and woman are equal, that's unequal yoke. If both of you marry, you have issues. You must align that belief. You must align that belief. If you don't align the belief of the role of the man and woman in the home and how the home will be run, you have issues. So, does your belief about life, about marriage, about the role of couple in the relationship align with each other? Do you believe the same thing as far as husband and wife is concerned in the relationship? Do you believe the same thing? Or this guy believes that my husband should take care of my baby, wash my clothes, cook my food, stay at home. And the lady believes, no, I should be a working class lady. I should earn my own living. I should have my own dream. Compatibility in terms of belief and culture. Check the pattern and for pattern and personality alignment. This has to align for you to go ahead. Number one, your belief have to align. Your personality have to align. Does your personality match with the other party? So both of you can enjoy yourself, either both as an introvert or both as an extrovert. Else, one person will see the other as being boring. Check for energy and vibration or connection. This has to align for you to go ahead. Look, if there is no connection that makes you to miss each other, or one person has sexual fantasy while the other does not, then don't go ahead. You know, one thing I tell people to discuss in relationship is the issue of sex. I've had opportunity to counsel some, both married women and unmarried, and I realized that, you know, when the scripture says that marriage is honorable in all and bed undefiled, some people don't understand what that statement means. Let me tell you, if you're already sexually active before you get married, your partner must know about it. He must, and I'll tell you why. In your mind, you have an experience already, and that creates expectation. And because you have that experience and expectation, if you don't discuss with your spouse to be of your expectation, you will have issues. Now, if both of you are sexually inactive, even if you don't discuss it, no problem. You will both learn together and grow together. Fantastic. That's why he said marriage is honorable in law and bed undefiled. The fact that it creates less issues, but immediately one person is sexually active does not mean you can't go ahead. People can make mistakes and repent and change, but you must discuss it. You must discuss it. Why should you discuss it? You know the expectation of the other party. You know the expectation of the other party. If you do not discuss it, you are going to create problems. Maybe along the line, towards when I'm going to discuss on sexual issues, I'll probably talk about this seriously sometimes in future, when we get to discuss sexual compatibility, male and female. Look. If you don't discuss it, because the guy has expectation because he's already sexually active. The lady has expectation because he's already sexually active. Particularly when one is and the other is not. If both are, no problem, but you still discuss it. Because, look, you see that sexual stimulation is very strong. It creates a pathway in your brain that you won't forget. So if you now are with someone else and you don't have the kind of experience you used to have, it's going to be a big problem. However, if both of you discuss it, you can learn together and work at it, but you must discuss it. So one person knows, okay, look, this is what I like, this is the way I like it, this is what and the other party understand, and they both work on it together. Else, that's why one of the reasons why marriages break is sexual issues. Because if the guy is not and the lady is, the guy will feel the lady is, why is he wild? Why is he like that? But unfortunately, the lady have had that experience. There is a lady I was talking to some time ago who rejected a proposal because of sexual compatibility. She's already very sexually active. And there is some kind of act she likes. And she asked the guy for it. And the guy said, no, I can't do that. He said, okay, if you can't do it, then I can't deal. Rather than going in and creating commotion, causing problem, angry, fighting, she pulled out. In as much as for me, I feel that is, it was, anyway, different people have different reasons for, as I said, people have different reasons for getting married. And some, you'll be shocked at the reason why some people get married. So there must be connection. There must be connection. Look, you should pray, if you're a Christian, for God to lead you, but God cannot lead you to someone you're not attracted to. There must be attraction. There must be chemistry. There must be chemistry. You must love this guy. You must like this guy, not love. Love is a commitment. You must like this guy. You must thrill for him. You must love. You must like yourself, the way you see yourself. There must be that attraction. There must be. Else, If the guy does not have the fear of God, he might have to go out. Have you ever wondered why some guys, they have a wife at home? They take care of their wife, they take care of their children, they love their children, but they still have a girlfriend outside, side chick. They like that side chick, but they love their wife. Love is commitment. They're able to provide all, and they don't want their wife to know. Because they respect their wife, they love their wife, but they don't like their wife. There's something that they see in this side chick that's making them to go outside. Why then marry the person you don't like? Why? Some of them marry because their parents influence, some believe, all sorts of reasons why people marry. Like the one I was talking about when I started, the lady that married someone who she does not like, but marry him because of money, and then go outside to go and sleep with her ex because he liked the physique of her ex, and her ex will help her give her to a very handsome baby, beautiful baby. She doesn't want to give her to ugly baby. She was using pill for her husband, going outside to sleep with her ex, and he has kids for her ex. And now they want to go to Canada, they need to do DNA test, and she's now afraid because they are going to discover the kids are not her husband's. Can you imagine? So he doesn't like the husband, but he likes the money. She likes the money. She doesn't like the other, but she likes the money. So check for compatibility in terms of connection. 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 If there's no connection that makes you miss each other, please don't go ahead. Don't go ahead. In fact, for me, even if you believe God led you, that's a sign that you heard yourself, you didn't hear God. Check for areas of pain and ensure that you have been healed or they have been healed from the pain before marriage. If not, the pain might be transferred to you and make your life miserable. So the reason why you discuss your past is some ladies have been raped and it can be a traumatizing experience, and that creates a pain in their life. Some can even hate men and be suspicious. So if there is a traumatic experience like rape, like incest by a family member, or broken heart from a previous relationship, any emotional trauma has to be healed before you go ahead. Please do not hide your pain under the cover of prayer, speaking in tongues. No. Being born again does not change your pre-installed pattern of life or conditioning. This is why the scripture says, be ye transformed by renew your mind, which simply means that you are transformed by uninstalling your self-sabotaging patterns. Be ye transformed by renew your mind means you should change your pre-installed pattern, self-sabotaging pattern. Be ye transformed by uninstalling your self-sabotaging pattern. Be healed of those pain, and there are therapies to help you. There are therapies to help you. There are professionals to help you get out of it, and you can be fully healed and whole. If you do not uninstall this learning, truth learning and necessary therapy where required, you will notice that even though you are born again, you are still either jealous, angry, have some very weird behavior, even towards your partner. This is why you need to see a therapist who can help you go through the process of healing in order to save your spouse from the side effect of this trauma. You know, there is this popular singer who was raped. There's a popular singer who married a lady who was raped in Nigeria here. Some of you might be aware of him. And this guy said, because of that rape experience, the wife still have the traces of that trauma is still in her. He has to hire a therapist that help because it's been over 20 years, but the lady is still being affected by that experience. And they have to hire a therapist that come to the house regularly to help her stabilize her. So don't go in until you're able to sort out some of these issues. Why? You want a marriage of peace, don't you? If that's what you desire, then please don't neglect some of this protocol we're discussing tonight. Next week, we're going to continue this protocol. I have about 4 or 5 areas on the protocol. After we finish the protocol, then we start discussing, we'll discuss, after protocol, we'll discuss the purpose of marriage. And after discussing purpose, we'll now start talking about preparation. And after preparation, we'll begin to discuss predisposition. Predisposition. Like I said, this is going to last for 3 months. And hoping it's going to be an interesting experience for you and I as you come every week. All right, thank you very much for listening tonight. Let me hear from you, those of us that are able to make it. Good evening, Ayelagbe Samuel. Good evening, how are you? What have you learned tonight? Hello, good evening. Samuel? Okay, Samuel is busy. Chinedu Namaga. Hello, Chinedu, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so thank you for the teaching tonight. I was really blessed. In today's class, I'll just give a summary.
Okay.
In today's class, we are talking about the anatomy of relationship and marriage, the potential. That's the first part. Okay. I'll just drop the bullet points. First of all, I learned that a lot of marriages crash today because individuals don't really discover themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the gap between the current reality and the set expectations are wide apart, yeah, a lot of stress will come in. Yeah, because a lot of people may say, okay, the reason why I want to get married, okay, I'm 30, for instance, that the reason why I want to get married is that by the time I will be 50, my first son, first daughter, will be 20.
She'll be 20.
So, but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It can work that way. It may not work that way.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people that have stayed up to 5, 6 years without issues.
Yes.
Okay, but these people are sexually compatible. They don't have any issues medically, but besides didn't come as expected. So we have to be very, very careful. Trying to navigate, the current reality. We have, what the pressure, this assumption that when somebody is up to 30, they will tell you any person, they will tell you, even your neighbor, even your colleague at work, or can go and marry. Okay, when you say, if you say, this food is very good, though, they will say, go and marry, so that your wife will cook that one for you. So, in fact, there is no sentence you will make without somebody telling you, or can go and marry. Okay, that undue pressure could make one to make a lot of mistakes, and gradually the person will start building up unnecessary stress that has not been there. Nobody says, there is no law that says that once someone is 30, the person should go and marry. Okay? Okay, now the next one is don't marry because of short-term expectation. Learn to discover yourself. You have to be independent for you to be interdependent.
Yeah.
Very important. You have to be independent in terms of having a life, having a job, having a business, taking care of your needs, comfortably taking care of your needs, not want. It was specified needs. And then, can you also take the needs of, let's say, extra 2 persons? You get my point. For example, yourself, your wife, and possibly a child. Okay? Then, happy just by ourselves alone. We must be happy because happiness comes from within. You can't give what you don't have. Very, very important. Don't even say relationships to cause unnecessary stress on your partner. You have a situation where someone is not working. It's not just that the person is not working, but the person doesn't have a means of livelihood. So whatever the husband says, or even if she's suffering from suffering from domestic violence, doesn't have a kid, she'll be like, let me just manage it. But if the person is maybe financially stable, not just financially stable, if the person is independent, all right, the person will be able to know what to do. You know, even if it means you leaving that marriage for that moment and then maybe going back to your own house or your parents' house for some time while that issue will be resolved. But you see, a lot of people see marriage as the end, as in you don't force yourself to be married. I don't know whether I get my point.
Yes.
Marriage is, you don't force yourself to be married. Marriage should be, I don't know the kind of word to use. It is a choice. It is a choice. It is a vocation you go into knowing fully well that this is what I would expect. Or this is what that I don't know how to put it. These are the things that the challenges there. So don't go there and put yourself in a tight corner, all because of finances. And that's the reason why you said the lady should be a stakeholder in that marriage. How?
Yes.
If you're a man or a wife, if as a man or a wife, you can't contribute financially, okay, then you are not looking for a wife or a husband. Probably you are looking for a sponsor.
Yeah.
And that is very, very important. Okay. You said something about law of compatibility. You're supposed to marry people of your kind. Yeah, it's true that there is this theory that says opposite sex attract, but we should also know that people that have the same characteristics, same value system, will blend together. We should also try as much as possible to discuss the issue of compatibility, energy and vibration. If you're not physically attracted to someone, there is no miracle that would make that marriage to even last. You should be sexually attractive to the person. You should be sexually attractive to the person, and you should be able to discuss sex. Very, very important. Okay.
All right. Let me hear from Oda because of time. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chooks Austin. Yes. What did you learn tonight? What's striking for you tonight, Chooks?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. My brother has initially run everything through. So, but one thing that stood out for me was the fact that you needed to be, you need to be attracted to the person that you say you want to marry, and you gave the example of the fact that the woman wanted a certain trait, for her children, but she didn't want the man to know, so she was getting the money from her husband and she was getting pregnant from another man. And so that goes to show that you really cannot keep a home. You really cannot be with somebody you are not necessarily attracted to. You can, even if it's the physical appearance, the character of the person, everything should be interesting. You should be curious to find out more. I mean, that's marriage. You keep on discovering new things with the person. But I have a question because I was trying to reconcile the aspect of compatibility. So I've always from reading, I've always like discovered that most people that tend to get married, like I'm talking of introvert, extrovert, like although you explained that it sounds nice. I mean, from just the facial thing. I mean, some of us are outgoing. It just we blend and everything. But then there are other aspects in a marriage that requires that opposite.
Give an example.
Okay, for example, somebody is very frivolous with money, and he or she doesn't know how to keep money because he's always giving,
No,
giving, giving.
that's not in that. Now, I'm looking at personality. This is skill. What you're talking about is skill. I'm talking about personality, compatibility in personality, not in skill. This is skill. Someone is a good manager. That's skill. So the person that is a good manager should manage the money. That's not personality.
Okay.
That's skill. That being able to be frugal and being able to manage resources. That's skill. The other person does not have the skill, he just spend money. But in personality, being expressive and introvert is what I'm talking about, not in the skill. In area of skill, the person that know more, that have the skill, should be the one to do the job for the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means it's just personality. Okay. The second question I would like to ask is, so I've heard a lot of people discuss about love language, in a marriage. I mean, in a relationship with somebody. What do you have to say about that? Because I find out that it's still based on personality, though. But then, if you're able to understand, first of all, do you believe in the love language thing first? Because I met with that.
Of course, I believe in it. It's when you are working together during dating or courtship, as the case may be, depending on your own belief in the premarital area, is when you get to learn all that. You ask yourself, you discuss, what is it that you like? I say, the other person, in the course of conversation, you will be able to know what the person like, if it's words, if it's a word of encouragement, affirmation, if it's giving gift, or if it's going out on a date. I mean, if it's PDA, public display of affection. I mean, what is it I like? So these are things you should discuss. These are things you should get to know in the course of what's the name? In the course of because you need to do it. You need to keep feeding that thing. You need to feed it. So you need to know it so you can feed it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Damaris, good evening. How are you tonight? Or how are you today? I hope you are not in the night where you are in Canada. Hello, good evening. How are you, Damaris? Okay, Damaris is busy. Dami, good evening. Hello, Dami.
Good evening, sir. Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Unmute. Okay, Damaris, how are you? What's striking for you tonight?
I joined very late, but the part I was hearing was the attraction part. Like, you have to be attracted to your partner, and it's something you should not negotiate with.
Yeah.
So if you know you're not attracted, probably you should maybe wait for the attraction to come.
Yes, you can develop it. That's correct. You can develop it actually. Yeah. It can develop over time. Yeah. But ensure it's there before you go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, I think that's the major thing. The attraction is important. It has to be maybe not full 360-degree of life, but the major important things like spiritually, physically, mentally, like you must be able to, like that mentally is, I think, is something that people do not, I don't know, Sha, maybe it's just, people don't really look at the mental, like you must be able to engage in discussion, like this is someone you live with for the rest of your life, so you cannot go and be discussing with someone else if you are not on the same mental wavelengths, like you must engage in discussion. So spiritually, you must be sure you're compatible, like your spiritual principles are the same. Physically, you must be attracted to him, like you must look good in your eyes.
Yes.
So I think that's what I gained from the session.
Dami, good evening. How are you? Hello, Dami, are you there? Okay, Dami is not there. Emmanuel Ate. Emmanuel, good evening. Hello, Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel. What have you learned? What's striking for you tonight?
I'm tuned to be in this meeting this evening. Although I came late because of want of time. I like the part that's I met the part that said as liking your partner, that like is greater than love. And that's the part that really struck me. I was like, so I've
Hello?
got to learn that. Then, secondly, the issue of compatibility.
Yes.
I've learned a lot in that area too. But I have a few questions.
Go ahead, please.
You said something about some traumatizing issues that even if one is born again, has given his life to Jesus Christ, then there's still need for therapy, that spirituality cannot solve some of those issues. I wonder why. What's the place of sanctification? And two, why is it that churches are not doing this? To be frank, a lot of churches have just left we, the young people, the young minds are just wandering and astray, because most of these important issues, most especially things like this, are not discussed on the pulpit. I want to know, why is it so? Thank you.
Okay, the reason why I've decided to take it up is because of what you said. Since it was not in the, it's not in the plan or program or priority of most religious organizations. You know, sometimes we do this thing just once a while, 1 hour, 30 minutes. You know, something that you need to learn for your lifetime. When you are going to school to become a doctor, you spend hours there. But when it comes to this relationship thing, we just do 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 2 hours. We think we have been able to do something. We are not digging deep into the real issue, which is why we're having this. So we are trying to talk about able to. Now, about the trauma I talk about. You know, when you are born again, or if you become, you have some spiritual experiences, it is your spirit that is affected. It's like, there's some characteristics you still retain as an individual. For example, it's just like, okay, let me give you an example. It's like someone who, let's say, committed fornication, and then he got pregnant. God has forgiven him for committing fornication, but he's still carrying the pregnancy. The fact that God has forgiven does not change the fact that the pregnancy is still there. So he now has to endure the challenge of that pregnancy and see doctor where required to be able to ensure that baby is delivered along the line. So that his spirit is regenerated does not change the fact that there is a physical change is happening in his body, which is where the help is needed. I don't know if I've been able to help you answer that question when you're talking about when people need therapy. Some people might have some dramatic experience, and it's like they're able to, those things are not so pronounced in their life again. That's great. But you know, the way this thing works sometimes is not everybody have those experiences. So if the pain is still there, if the trauma is still there, it's just wise to seek a therapist or support to be able to get it fixed. All right, John, good evening. How are you? Good evening, John. Can you hear me?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Apologies, I joined quite late.
Oh, okay.
I joined quite late, but from the summary of everybody, I've been able to. First off, on attraction, that there must be attraction from both sides, first of all, because you cannot be with someone for the rest of your life which you are not attracted to.
Yeah.
So there must be that attraction. Also, you guys, there must be something in common between the two parties that you guys can relate to. Basically, there must be something in common. It could be something of interest that you guys share, that the meeting point between two of you, so that when you are discussing, you're discussing out of point or out of place. Yes, there must be that in place. And basically, basically I came in part of that at your ending part. That's when I joined, so I didn't really get more. But I've been able to get one or two from everybody's contribution so far.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Miss Soma, good evening. Long time. How are you? How is the US today?
Good evening, sir. Fine, thank you. US is fine.
You are in summer, so cold has reduced.
Hey, the heat, this place, everything is always extreme, extreme. When it's cold, it's extreme, extremely cold. When it's hot, the heat is, and it's not even heat wave yet. When
Wow.
the heat wave comes, well, thank God for everything.
Yes. What have you learned tonight?
Ah, wow. First of all, thank you so much for taking time to really address these matters, these issues, because it's a huge thing of concern considering the divorce rate nowadays,
Yeah.
especially the young people. It's really escalating and alarmingly for that matter.
Mm.
And it's also ridiculous that people are so proud of it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to digress a bit, but I got talking with someone last week. He's a colleague of mine, and so I think the last time we had the program, I saw him with a lady. So I asked after the lady. I said, "So how far?" And he said, "Oh, he was ready to get married." I said, "Okay, you're ready to get married. Why?" He feels like, "Okay, my age." I said, "Okay, your age. How did you get to know this?" There were certain questions I was asking him, and obviously this person is not even ready for marriage mentally and other things. The responses he gave me, so I said, "So really, okay, what do you know about marriage? What have you guys, do you read marriage books? Do you attend marriage seminars? I mean, what's your intention? Do you want to have a long-lasting relationship, or you just say, well, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work," I said, "Ha."
Wow.
you know, I was very concerned, and that's what is going on. So thank you so much for addressing this matter. This is very important. There were so many points, and there's one I'm just going to there's this word that usually comes to me, that marriage is like an empty box.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only get out of it what you put into it. So a lot
Mm.
of people go into marriage with so much expectations, like, okay, I'm sad, so when I get
I'll be
married,
happy.
it will make me happy. I'm poor, when I get into the marriage I'll be rich. I am this, when I get into the marriage it will transform me. Or, okay, I don't like my partner, I don't like this about my partner, when I get to the marriage I will change him or her. But that's not it doesn't work that way. It is what you put into it that you will get out of it. And one, like, if one wants to get into marriage, two independent people, like, marriage should be like a symbiotic relationship where both of you are mutually gaining from each other, not parasitic. Like, one person is gaining, the other person is losing.
I can't hear her again. Can anyone hear me?
Had maybe with their exes, people who are mentally ready, people who they are happy with themselves.
Yes.
They are happy with themselves. Like, if this person does not give you a, you're happy. If your partner does not do this for you, you're happy. And I think a high level of independency is what is expected into, to take that mindset into marriage. And I also appreciate the fact when you said one should do a background check. As you said it just took me back to our mothers, our parents, and
Yeah.
I think they still do it even now.
Yeah.
When a anybody wants to get married, they send, like, somebody to go and investigate
Yeah. Yeah.
that family, to know
Yeah.
about, maybe if there are underlying, maybe even sicknesses there, because
Yeah.
there are some things that are very hereditary or
Yeah.
prevalent.
Yeah.
Several things. It's very very important. And Also check for belief, personality, and culture compatibility. Two cannot work together except they be agreed, really. Yeah. Check for energy and vibration connection. Yes, like it's important that you and a person are on the same frequency, you're on the same reasoning level. So which goes I don't know, maybe I would like you to shed more light on this. Please. I know that a lot of times people have said that somebody who is uneducated marrying a person who has a PhD. So I fine, I looking at it from different levels, but I kind of have um, a concern
Okay.
because their reasoning patterns, their their levels of is it reasoning and
And
are
thinking.
very different. Thinking are different.
Yeah.
They're going to be seeing things completely from different angles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, please, I would like you to talk more on this because it's very prevalent, especially within the church. So people say that um oh, is it you don't have to that you don't have to pay attention to a person's academic qualifications or the discrepancy between yours and the person's academic accomplishments, or you know. And please, can you speak more on this?
Let me speak to that. Now, you are not supposed to focus on academic qualification. The only challenge is that you need to know you reason the same way, but the only yardstick to be able to measure is academic qualification. That's where the problem is. So even though you are not married because of academic qualification, but you want to marry someone you can operate at the same frequency, you can reason the same way. All this is to avoid frictions. I can't be talking this here, talking that. We are just on different world entirely. So we really will not be very compatible in relating, because we're going to be living together, by the way, and we're going to be talking. We should be able to, if I'm talking about something, you should be able to have decent conversation, like Damaris was saying. So if we are far apart in terms of our reasoning, we are going to have issues. One person will going to see the other person and say, why are you talking like that? Don't you know this? And another person will say, why are you talking to me like that? So at the end of the day, you might have issues. So even though you are not supposed to use academic qualification as a yardstick, but academic qualification become a yardstick for determining at least it's an objective way of knowing the level of reasoning of someone. Objectively does not necessarily mean it's accurate, but that's the way what is available for you. So you have to work with it. So at the end of the day, I don't know if you were around 2 weeks ago, I was saying when people want to marry, they should marry someone that they are not too far apart in terms of maybe 6 years max. And I was giving the theory of 6 years is if it's 6 years apart max, either the male or female. And I'm not bothered whether the male is older or the female is older. I'm not bothered about that. I'm interested in the gap. And the reason is because, look, if you are in secondary school at the same period, because it's less than 6 years, you are in secondary school at the same period, you're in primary school at the same period, you're in university at the same period, most likely you can have some conversations, some jokes, some jest, some discussion that you can both relate with because you are in school at the same time. So there's some common, okay, if I tell you now, some people here might not know this film, Sesame Street. When I was growing up, Sesame Street was a very common cartoon. But today, I don't know if they still have that kind of thing. So, but today, if they talk about Barney, children of today will understand Barney. Now, it's easy to relate at that level because we grew up at the same period and we experience the same thing. So when we are now so far apart in which someone else have PhD, the other person have maybe secondary school certificate, it might be a big challenge. Some people might be able to manage it, but I don't like talking on exceptions. Those are exceptions. Those are exceptions. It's not a general rule. It's not going to work for many people. So I'm not going to recommend it because I know it's not going to work for many people. But sincerely, for some, they might be able to find a way to manage it. But that will not work for many people.
All right, thank you.
All right. Someone is asking a question in the chat. He said, how do you handle long-distance relationship? Look, if you are not married yet, you can have decent conversation. In today's world of social media, you can talk to yourself and see yourself discussing, see each other's face, discussing regularly. What I don't recommend is by the time you are now married, to stay away for too long is really unwise, particularly when you are just married, because You know, when you got married, when you just get married, you are going to go through a stormy period. The only way you'll be able to overcome that stormy period if you live together. If you don't live together, you'll be able to overcome that stormy period. You might now get to know yourself 10 years down the line because you were not together. But when you are still in relationship, maybe dating or courtship, you really can have decent conversation, because the whole essence of that is to be able to meet. Maybe you meet once in 3 months. Maybe you go to Abuja or you come to Lagos once in 3 months to be able to see physically, but you can talk every day and see yourself every day using technology. Technology has made it a lot easier. I don't know if I've answered Chinedu's question. Okay. Olapan.
Hello?
Yes.
No, you have. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Okay. What if in a situation where the other person doesn't like video calls or maybe video conversation or something like that?
How about phone call? How about phone call or chatting, even if you can't do video?
I discovered let me put it this way. What if the person doesn't like chat and the person doesn't like video conversation, and this person is the listening side and not the talking side? This person is the listening side and not the talking side.
Okay.
This person wants you to do all the talking, and then even when you are trying to make the person to say something, it looks as if you are forcing the person to say something. So one, it's not just long distance issue now. What if the person, I don't know, for her own person, for the person's person, I don't use he or her now. Okay. For the person's personal reason, doesn't like one, chat. 2, doesn't like video conversation. Even when you say, okay, I think I'm getting tired of calls, why not we do this way? The person wants to stick to his or her own, pattern of life, you get, and then the person is not the spoken type. The person allows you to do all the talking, and then he's at the back end, listening.
So what have you met the person physically? If the guy that is trying to reach out to the lady has not met the lady physically, maybe you should try to meet the lady physically first. Because if you say this kind of relationship, is it that they both have not met or they met somewhere before, they know themselves, now they are separate because of work or something? If that's the case, then I will have some concern. But if they have not met physically before, maybe that's why the lady or the guy has not opened up. Maybe it would be great if they can first meet. If they now meet physically and they have decent conversation, going on with phone call might become easier, even if it's not video. Am I making sense?
Okay, maybe we'll discuss that on a personal ground.
All right. You can call me privately. Let's discuss it. That's fine.
All right.
Okay, let me hear from Meshach. Meshach, you joined us a bit late. Good evening. How are you? Hello, Meshach. Okay, Meshach is busy. Tolu Olakpade, are you there? Tolu Olakpade, good evening. How are you? Okay, Tolu Olakpade is not available. TechnoSpark. Okay, Dami, go ahead, please. Okay, TechnoSpark. Dami, hold on. TechnoSpark, go ahead.
I don't have anything to say. What you say?
TechnoSpark, what's your name?
Fumi.
Okay, Fumi, go ahead.
I'm just listening. I just joined, so I really
okay,
don't have
okay, that's fine. We're just trying to get what people have learned and their contribution. That's fine for me. So, I mean, maybe later you can speak. Meshach, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, sir. Thank you so much for the insights you shared. I joined when you were talking about compatibility, the background check and all that, when you cited the example of
hello? Is it my network or his network? Can anybody hear me? Can anyone hear me, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, because I can't hear him. I want to be sure it's not from my side. Okay, I think it's from him. Okay, let's hear from Dami. Go ahead, please. Dami, I saw your hand. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So we can hear you.
Okay, Meshach. I think Meshach is having issues with his network because I can't hear him at all.
hello, sir.
Yes, Meshach, go ahead now. I can hear you now.
Okay, sir. So what I learned, especially when you talked about sexual compatibility.
Yes.
You really drove it home. I got an insight into it. Why the essence? Why it has to be discussed if one
Yes.
has been active.
Yes.
Before now.
Yes.
The way you brought it out, it drove it home for me very,
Good.
very well. I get that part of it.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Tolu, yes, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Oh, in the area of making one happy, like you have to be happy with yourself.
Yes.
Before you can even embark on the issue of relationship.
Yes.
Mine is this. It's a question.
Go ahead.
Like an unhappy person think about relationship, no talk of marriage. That's number one.
I didn't
And
get
number
that.
two.
I didn't get that. I didn't get number one. Repeat it. Sorry.
Okay, sir. I said, can an unhappy person think about relationship? No talk of marriage.
You should not think about relationship, or it's going to create problem for the guy. If the person is not happy,
then how can the person overcome the area of yes?
Now, so
you should go and do what?
He should seize a counselor to be able to help him or her identify where the problem lies and be able to solve that problem first. So that, because you won't find happiness in that marriage if you are not happy yourself. So you need to be very happy yourself to bring happiness into the relationship. So if
Sir,
go ahead.
Are you saying the love can't fight it? Like they will love the person out for the other person, can't fight the issue of unhappiness and all the rest?
It will not. It will not. Because you shouldn't find happiness in someone else. You should find happiness within yourself.
All right, sir.
Within yourself. If you don't find it within yourself, you'll be frustrated if you think you find it in someone else and you didn't find it in that person. In fact, you should take happiness to relationship and share your happiness with the other party rather than hoping that the other party will make you happy. So it's to see a counselor who will be able to analyze and know exactly what exactly is the reason why the person is not happy and be able to let the person begin to see the right perspective to life in order to be more happy before you go into that relationship.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I can see, Dami, go ahead, please. I can see your hand. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, so I want to ask a practical question.
Go
In
ahead.
a situation where, for example, now you are 28 and you are finding it difficult to be attracted to someone. Understand? So does it mean?
Hold on. To someone, as in a particular person.
Yeah, no, as in just generalize. You are not just having that emotional feeling. You are not just having that feeling emotionally. Age 28. So the first question is, does it mean the person needs to go for psychological checkup or seek counseling?
No. if you are absorbed in your job and you have so much stress, so much thing going on, you have so much issues to deal with, you might not even think about this at all. You might not think about this at all. So what I would recommend for those kind of person is to create time to be by yourself, to think about yourself first and your life. Number one. Number two, check around. Do you have people in your life, either from primary, secondary, or university, who is a lady that you really have been friends? Maybe you're a colleague in school or at work, and you gist regularly. You are not attracted though, but you go get along, you gist, you talk. Because like someone was saying, you might not have that attraction at the beginning, but the fact that you already have this person, you talk regularly, you can initiate that. This is the reason why some people will recommend dating, in which you now have more time discussing on issues and getting to know yourself and the life, because in the course of conversation, this can be developed actually. So that
what if they're already married? Sorry to cut you short, but what if they're already taken? What if they're already taken and you don't have anyone else? You don't have such close friends.
What if already what?
They're already taken and you don't have such close
all
friends.
The people.
Yes,
they've not finished now. If you are working, there are ladies at work. If you are in church, they are allowed.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But the ladies at your place of work are not the ones that you share the same belief with.
Okay, you don't share the same belief with them.
Yes.
Then there are ladies in your church.
But what if you are this kind of introvert person that is always just go to church, hardly communicate with people, just a low-key?
I told you, I said the other time that people should not hide under personality to excuse their immaturity. Don't hide under personality to excuse immaturity. That you are not doing it does not mean that's who you are. That's who you have become by virtue of the environment you grew up. You must understand that's not okay and then do something about it. You must understand that is not okay. That you don't have anybody you are relating with, you're just by yourself. That's not a good way to live. You must have connection. You must go out of your way to build relationship. It's something you must do. You really don't have a choice on that. So if your personality type by virtue of your environment make you to do it in a particular way, but rest assured that's not a good way to live, because you need to build relationship. You need to get to meet people. You need to be deliberate about socializing. It's extremely important. And by the time you begin to do it, you begin to see what you probably are not seeing before. Either environment, your job, or the experience you've had have contributed to this, but the truth is, it's not okay. That, I won't call it a weakness, is not being able to build social interaction is not a good way to live, because as human beings, we cannot be on our own. We need each other to be able to be happy. I mean, to be able to create a satisfaction, rather, that I'm able to help someone make me happy. If I don't help anybody, if I'm not able to support someone, assist someone, help someone, I won't be satisfied as human. So I must create social interaction and have those conversations. So it's something, if it's you that is affected in this, you need to do something about it. And we can have conversation on this afterwards.
Okay, final question, please.
Okay, go ahead.
So what advice can you give, or what step can someone take in a situation where the person grew up in a family where the relationship is kind of toxic, where the father and all your orientation, everything you've learned about relationship just very difficult. That's so how do you overcome this fear? The fear of falling into relationship.
The reason for this is to transform everybody listening, be it transformed by renew your mind. Through this information you are learning, is actually for you to be able to erase from your mind those negative and toxic experiences you've had about marriage or about relationship. So if you grew up in an environment where the environment is very toxic, particularly for parents or siblings, that make it difficult, this is why you need this. And also, you might need to see a therapist. You might need to be a therapist. So I'm hoping by the time we are through with this series, if you follow through and you learn and you begin to put some of those into practice, it will help you. It will help. Now, if eventually you're still unable to get out of it, then we'll probably have to have a session together. But you definitely need a therapist to help out. But the essence of this is because of what you just said. Some people, if you grew up in a home where daddy beat mommy, you don't see anything wrong with it. Or where there is no love, there's always fight and argument. And in fact, if you grew up, particularly sometimes you grew up in a polygamous home where competition, everything, it's not a good environment. It affects you, either you like it or not. And the essence of this conversation is to actually get us to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and renew our mind and become a better person and come out of that. But if that thing is so ingrained and it's difficult to bring out, having a therapy session might help out.
All right, thank you.
All right. Someone said, I also think you might want to find out why you are having challenges socializing. It might be a self-esteem challenge. Very correct, Ms. Soma. Very, very correct. Self-esteem challenge, environment where you grew up from, which is what the question, I mean, the digging deep into ourselves. You know, sometimes as humans, we don't sit down to go into ourselves. You know, you are just by yourself and just thinking about your life. You know, sometimes when you finish school like this, you want to make money. Sometimes you don't even realize about you. You are not growing. In your relationship, in the way you reason, you know, you're only making money. You make the money, you scatter your relationship because you have not grown emotionally, you're not mature, you have not been able to develop those other areas of your life because you have only been thinking about money. Okay, Timileyin, good evening. You're the first to join this evening. What have you learned today? Timileyin Amos, good evening. How are you?
Fine, good evening, sir. Okay, I'll just try to summarize because other people have said many things. So the thing that I enjoyed most in the conversation is the fact that the period of being single should be the most important and interesting aspect of our lives because once someone gets married, you cannot be single again, right? Okay, unless maybe in the event of divorce,
yeah.
Right, yeah. So this is the period where we discover ourselves. We really study ourselves. We know our vision and mission in life, our purpose and everything. Because we shouldn't let marriage be the one that would stop us from achieving what we are supposed to achieve, right? So we should maximally utilize the period when we are single so that by the time we get married, we would not feel empty or unfulfilled in life. So there's something that you said you must be happy just just by yourself alone because you try to create a kind of an index about stress, right? That when there's a gap between your reality and your expectation, right? If there is a wide gap between your reality and your expectation, there will be so much stress, especially when you go into a relationship like marriage. To put both partners at to give both partners stress and the marriage will not be enjoyable. And in physics, there's something called tensile stress and tensile strain. At a particular point, you reach your breaking point, and that's when divorce occurs. That's when the stress becomes too much and you can no longer withstand. You have reached your elastic limit. Yeah. And so, before getting married, also discuss the fact that you need to be involved in something productive. That you shouldn't be idle. You should be financially stable. You should be independent on your own. That is the only way that you can enjoy interdependence when you finally get married. So create um, a structure around you that makes you independent. So even when you get married, you won't be like, everything just depends on this one person. Because the truth is that God makes each and every one of us complete, right? We don't, in quotes, need somebody else to complete ourselves, to complete each other. We are complete already the way God created us. Like, if not, we will say that the Apostle Paul was an incomplete person till he died. But no, that's not true. All of us were complete, but we only get married for fulfill some other things. Like there's something that two people can do that one person cannot do. Okay, I think that's the one thing about marriage. Marriage, being single does not mean you are not a complete person. But I believe that I'm complete in my singleness, and when I get married, I would be some obviously by God's grace better and we'll be able to complement each other and fill in the gaps and the voids that might be existing maybe in character or otherwise. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Victoria, good evening. How are you? Hello, Toria.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. Hi, sir. I mean, everyone has summarized it all. From you mentioned something about enjoying dependence before interdependence, which of course I agree with. I mean, it's only what you have you can take into whatever you might get involved with. Then I mean, it's hard to even believe that even this time where things are becoming financially increasingly difficult, some ladies are actually entering into relationships to depend on a guy. Like,
you will be
they
shocked.
are not dependent on their own. They don't have anything to bring to the table, and they still want to depend on the guy. Like, it's so hard, even for relationships where people are working together, where the husband and the wife are putting things together. It's still so difficult. I mean, really. So you also mentioned something about marrying your kind, which of course I agree with. You only attract who you are.
Yeah. I can't hear you again. I hope it's not from my side. Okay, Toria is kicked out. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for being able to make it today. Next week, we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic. It's still on protocol. Protocol, we have about 5 protocols, or 5 or 6 protocols before we begin to discuss purpose, and then preparation, and then predisposition, talking about the difference between male and female, where we must understand each other to be able to live with each other very well. Like I said, this will continue till end of September. By God's grace. It's going to be an interesting session. Please remember to share the link with your friends. The link does not change. It's the same thing every week. Meeting ID and passcode is every week is the same thing. So you can share the flyer with your friends who you think might need this kind of conversation to help them take this critical, important decision in their life and avoid the situation in which many people have found themselves. Toria, you are back. Go ahead, please. You were kicked out. Go ahead, Toria. Hello, Tori, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I said you mentioned something about marrying your kind, which I agree with. I mean, the popular saying that says that you attract who you are, you attract what you are. Then one thing that was striking to me is the area of.
Wow, are you kicked out again?
Pattern. You said to give the prophetic insight into the future. So I think something that we are not so intentional about. I mean, sometimes we get so blinded emotionally by what we feel, the butterfly feelings, and all of that, and we tend to ignore these little signs, these patterns.
Yes.
And then whenever we get ourselves involved in the relationship and we get into things proper.
Toria is kicked out again. Unfortunately, we need to go now because of time. Okay, he's back. You can unmute yourself. It's like the network is really so bad tonight. Toria, unmute yourself, please, and go ahead.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I mentioned the area of patterns, how that give a prophetic insight into the future.
Yeah.
How even these little patterns before, let's say in the stage of dating, we tend to see these patterns, these behaviors, but we kind of cover it up with the emotions and butterfly feelings. I think this is something we should just be very, very intentional about. We should try as much as possible to notice these traits and correct. We spoke on compatibility, connections, and all of that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for being able to make it today. See you next week, 7 p.m. Have a wonderful weekend and bye-bye.